Hey, Queens. I hope this message finds each of you doing well on this beautiful Wednesday, this Wisdom Wednesday. Today, I wanted to come to talk to you ladies about what God put on the inside of you. And the main point of my message is that what God has put inside of you, that nobody can take it away from you. Nobody can time when it's pulled out of you. I just come to let you ladies know that God wants to pull it out of you. And in order for him to pull out of you what he dropped on the inside of you before you were formed in your mother's womb, before you even had a form, before you even were implanted into your mother's womb, and before you burst forth into this world to give the light that God has already placed on the inside of you. He wants to pull it out of you. And so in order for God to shape you and make you who he already destined you to be so you can become who you are, you got to go through some things. You know, in order for God to pull it out of you, he may have had you have a bad marriage. You know, a marriage that was abusive, a marriage that tried to break you down. But had you not gone through that terrible marriage, you wouldn't have the strength to go where he's sending you. You know, another situation might be that you feel that the parents that you were born to aren't good. You know, maybe they're abusive or condescending or neglectful to you. But trust and believe that God would not have you go through it if it wasn't for a reason. And again, that reason is to pull out of you what he already put inside of you. And so you wouldn't be bold to go out there and tell your story and find the family that he really wanted to raise you. You know, you might be somebody that is a child of a foster child at one point, and you were adopted into a beautiful family. You know, you might at some point go and find your birth mother or birth father and find that they aren't really who you need to be connected to. You know, see, God used them as a vessel to bring life forth for you, to bring you into this life. But that ain't who he had for you. He already had that family that adopted you, waiting for you. That's who he had for you. And again, you had to go through the mess so that he could pull it out of you to become who he already destined you to be. You may be somebody that feels like, God, I can't catch a break. Every time I turn around, something's going wrong. You know, people are talking about me. They don't accept me. You ain't meant to be accepted by that group of people. You know, he had you go through that so you would know how to treat the people who are supposed to be in your life. You know, so don't get discouraged, ladies, when you feel like things aren't going the way that you want them to go, or you're not in full understanding of why you had to deal with that. Lord, why did you choose me to be homeless for 5 years, God? Like when you had this beautiful mansion for me, but I had to go through those 5 years of not having anywhere to stay. And I felt lonely and I felt forgotten and that nobody loved me. But you had to go through those 5 years of homelessness so God can pull out of you who he destined you to be. You wouldn't have gotten that mansion had you not gone through that time of being homeless, because you wouldn't have appreciated it. You would have felt like, oh, it was all me. You know, it's the work that I did. It's the hard work that I put in. It's this, it's that. God wants you to know that he has intricately planned out your story before you got here. And there's going to be heartache. There's going to be suffering. There's going to be sadness. There might even be some depression. But on the other side of that is who he destined you to be. So keep going, Queens. Don't let anybody discourage you. You know, if you're not where you're supposed to be, know that you are becoming all that God destined you to be.
Have a blessed day, Queens, and be a blessing to someone else.